It's day 2 aboard the Voyager of the Seas, and it's a day at sea, baby. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Joe, and this is day 2 of our 5-night cruise aboard the Voyager of the Seas. Now, at this point, we were Cozumel bound, but it is a day at sea, so we had a lot more of the ship to explore, and we are early risers, so we got right to it. First, we did a deep dive on the Promenade, where we got a closer look at all the food and shops they had. Everything was closed this early, but they had coach, and frankly, that's as close as we're getting to going in anyways. They have the fashion district for all the accessories you might need for the trip, and you have Cafe Promenade, where you can get specialty coffee out front. Now, that coffee is not included in the price of the cruise. You can actually get the free coffee inside the cafe or at any of the dining locations. But you can get all sorts of pastries, sandwiches, and snacks as well. This is where you're going to get pizza throughout most of the day. There are also a number of other drinks here that you could grab for free, like orange juice and iced tea. You've got some Coke Freestyle machines over here for people who did have the soda package. So it is important to know that there's all kinds of different drink packages aboard the ship, and that not all drink packages are actually able to provide you all things depending on the ship. So if you don't get any drink package at all, you're still going to have plenty of options available to you. They'll have water available to you, coffee, tea, and urns, juices, things like that. If you want to have soda, I mean, I call it pop, but I'm going to be a little populist here and go with soda. If you want soda, you're going to need the soda package. So the soda package is going to run you between $12.99 and $15 per day. That's going to depend on the ship, time of year, things like that. And what that's going to get you is a souvenir cup that you're going to be able to refill at any of those Coke Freestyle stations. Now, the refreshment package is the soda package plus a little bit extra. Now, it can run you anywhere from $29 to $42 a day, and it only includes non-alcoholic beverages, but more than just the soda package. So you're going to get things like freshly squeezed juice, sparkling water. If there's a Johnny Rockets on your ship, milkshakes are included, mocktails, things like that. Now, for me, I don't think that that one's worth it to me because I'm not going to spend that much extra money in milkshakes a day. I know I look like I might, but I won't, and I just don't see the value in that. Now comes the deluxe beverage package. Now this one's going to be your most expensive one, anywhere between $55 and $120 a day. But this one is going to include your alcohol if that's what you're into. I don't personally drink, so again, completely lost on me. But for someone who does, this is going to get you all your cocktails, beer, wine, everything like that. But it does have a cap on a price per drink, and that's $14. So if you go to any of those really premium drinks, like some kind of special old fashioned or something like that, that comes in at $16, you'll have to pay the difference for that drink, so you'll owe $2 instead. But this is my biggest problem with the drink package as a non-drinker. If my wife wanted to take advantage of that, I also have to buy that package. Everyone of legal drinking age has to have the same drink package. And while I do understand the reasoning behind it, obviously you don't want one person to just go get drinks for everybody, you also have to understand that there are people who don't drink these things. I actually heard a story from another guest on the ship who was a travel agent, and she said she was booking a really large party, like 40 plus people, and one person who was a recovering alcoholic didn't want to get the drink package, and they tried to make him buy it. Now, after some time of actually talking to the guest services and things like that, they managed to make it so he was exempt from that, but that should not be a struggle. If you don't want to drink, you shouldn't have to pay for it. Because essentially what that would have meant, depending on the ship and depending on the time of year, it could have cost us $300 a day for just my wife to drink. But enough of that from me. If you have any opinions on the drink packages from the different cruise lines, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be interested to hear how other cruise lines handle this as well. Next up in the Promenade, you have the Pig and Whistle. That's the Voyager of the Seas English pub where they have food and drink as well as musical acts and occasional trivia. You've got more luxury shops with Regalia, the watch shop. You've got a stairway that goes directly down into the casino. Solera is their luxury beauty shop. Drenched Surf Shop has all kinds of gifts as well as beachwear. And Swarovski sells their usual wares. Now, you will find that some of these luxury stores are going to have giveaways and contests throughout your cruise, and all of the stores are going to bring stuff out into the middle of the promenade so you can do kind of like as you walk shopping. Now, generally, these giveaways and things are just ways to draw you in and try and sell you something, but they do things like those charm bracelets where they do give away a different charm each day. They are free. You usually just have to kind of sit and listen to some kind of pitch. So if you want those kind of giveaways and your willpower is strong, then go check them out. Port Merchants is your duty-free shop for alcohol and tobacco. And near the end of the deck, this is where you have guest services and the shore excursion desks. If you need help for anything during the cruise, this is where you're going to go. We made our way up to the sports deck on the ship to explore, where they have a pickleball courts that double as a basketball court. They have a mini golf course here, And here's where you find the water slides. You're also going to find Flow Rider, the stationary surfing area where guests can surf or take lessons from qualified instructors. You also have some great views of the ocean from this deck. You'll see a bit of the teen area on the back deck here. It's actually called the back deck. But it's fun to just watch the ship in motion from here. Sometimes you look out and there's dolphins or something. They have cornhole on the deck, so you can have a game here, or you can just do it yourself while your husband films you. Finally, it was breakfast time in the main dining room. I mean, just look at how massive this room is and how many people get served meal to meal. We were lucky enough that our table was next to the window, so we had a great view during daytime dining. Carrie started with a fruit plate and had eggs Benedict as her main, which she always enjoys. And I had the perfect over-easy eggs and bacon with hash brown and toast. After breakfast, we attended a seminar and excursions because we heard there were some giveaways there, which we actually won. We won a zipline excursion on Coco Cay, but it was only one, which meant for both of us to go, one of us would still have to purchase it. But we wanted to take advantage of the Hideaway, which is their adult-only beach, and that does require a ticket. So we actually asked if we could switch it to the Hideaway, which they did allow for us, and then we just bought the extra ticket for that. After the seminar, we explored the front of the ship. So this is it. We are at the very front of the boat right now. We are not going to bore you with a Titanic homage, but this is as far forward as you get, and we are looking around and there's just nothing in any direction, and it's very exciting and weird, and it's very cool. You get the breeze on your face though, and even on a hot day it feels kind of nice.
Feels very nice with the breeze.
But here we are on our second day and we're enjoying the crap out of ourselves, so there you have it. The ship also has a helipad for emergency evacuation that they use as a seating area for the rest of the time. It's usually pretty quiet up here if you're looking for a place to hang out without big crowds. Back at our room to get changed, we were treated to a fun towel animal as we got ready to hit the pool and hot tub area for a little bit of R&R. Now, if you're using their towels, you check them out and back in with your stateroom key. Your room will get charged if you don't return them. At lunch, back in the main dining room, I got myself some mozzarella sticks and a pulled pork sandwich with fries. Barbecue sauce on the sandwich was all right, but the pork was cooked nicely. Harry had a salmon salad with peaches and pomegranates and a halibut dish with mashed potatoes and roasted cauliflower, which she said wasn't memorable. I was looking at it, just looked very flat and boring dish. I had to have her actually identify it for me because it just looked like one homogeneous whatever. For dessert, I had a lemon coconut cake and Carrie had chocolate cake with a caramel drizzle. We made our way back to our room after lunch, and here's an example of how narrow these hallways can be. You can see some doors were decorated, but not at the frequency you'll find on a Disney cruise, for example. When we got back to our stateroom, we were left with a nice surprise. So I want to give a shout out to our room attendant who was so kind. We forgot something to be able to open up the wine that my wife brought with her on the trip, and it just so happened that they have those just available. So we have just this little makeshift corkscrew that she can use to open up the wine, and that's amazing that they think about things like that, so thank you. Next up, they had an open skate at Studio B where the ice show took place the previous night. Equipment rentals are all complimentary and they have supports for kids who are beginners. Terry decided to take advantage and go for a skate. What's that? Oh yeah? You're probably asking, hey Joe, you're Canadian, why are you not out there skating? Well, all Canadians can't skate, racist. I am a terrible skater with weak ankles, and I fall down a lot, and the last thing I want to do while I'm on vacation is injure myself in any way, shape, or form. Almost fell down on the pool deck yesterday, made it out unscathed. Gonna keep myself unscathed for the rest of the trip. After skating, we hit up a travel trivia contest.
A World Heritage Site since 1988.
Okay, so that didn't go super well. Only 3 teams showed up, and we came third. But they felt bad for us. They took enough pity, and we got this little bag as a little gift, and that's really cool. So these things are worth it, but even if you think you're going to do bad. But we're going to go ahead and do a couple more right now, so hopefully we should do a little bit better at these ones. We took in a little Promenade entertainment on our way to the Schooner Bar for a movie quotes quiz. Carrie had herself a toasted marshmallow old-fashioned with Buffalo Trace whiskey, marshmallow syrup, and a toasted marshmallow on top.
I want to ask for you.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North. Houston, we
Yes.
I'll be back. They are so easy, no?
Yes.
Okay, now let's do it in Spanish.
Okay, so we lost out again, but this time only by 1 point. We had 2 wrong out of 16, and everybody got one of them wrong. So the only other one we didn't know was from the notebook. So we're going to stick around. We're going to see these seats right here, and we're going to be doing the Name That Tune for the 2000s next.
Camera!
Okay, so that trivia, the 2000s, Name That Tune, we kind of crashed and burned. We got 10 out of 17. Didn't know half of them, obviously. Hadn't even heard some of those ones. But we're enjoying the vibe here at Schooner Bar right now. They've got a general trivia one coming up, and we've got some time before we have our dinner reservation tonight. So we're going to give it in one more shot.
I'm gonna tell you some questions about general culture, sports, famous singers, famous artists. So, how many teeth should a human adult contain? Who directed the 1997 film Titanic? Who directed?
Come out on your face, the big disgrace. We will.
Sorry?
We lost
Thank
and we
you.
did very well, but this is the
Pasta,
team
la
we lost to,
pasta.
right over there. There's 10 of them. That shouldn't be okay. 2 people, 10 people. Now for dinner, we skipped out on the included dining options and we opted for one of the extra pay restaurants that they have aboard the ship. Now on the ship, at least when we sailed, they had Chops Grill, that's their steakhouse. They had a Zumi, specializing in Japanese cuisine. And they had Chef's Table, which is a more intimate dining experience. Apparently now they have Hooked Seafood, which is obviously a seafood restaurant. I don't believe that was on the ship. It definitely wasn't on the list of things that I had when we were doing it. But they also had the restaurant that we decided to go to this night. We got ourselves dressed up all nice. We are eating at one of the specialty restaurants tonight. We're going to Giovanni's Table.
I am very excited for it.
I'm also excited. Italian. Okay, so we're at a second dinner seating right now after going to Giovanni's. I'll get into the why after, but let's go and see what we did at Giovanni's and then we'll come back and see what we did here. Giovanni's is very unique to the dining options available to you on this ship. They have a prefix menu with a variety of apps, including a charcuterie board, salads, and more. A bunch of great mains. They're famous for their filet mignon, despite there being a steakhouse on board, and a great collection of classic Italian desserts. They had an excellent bread service. I could have done without the crunchy breadsticks, but otherwise the bread was delicious, and it came with an olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette for dipping. I got the eggplant parmesan for my appetizer, which was delicious and crispy. Carrie got herself the beef carpaccio, which she really enjoyed. For her main, she had their famous filet mignon, which she said was indeed a tasty dish. And this was the tagliatelle carbonara, which is very much not a carbonara and was not even how they described it in the menu. Now, this wasn't the only issue with our experience at Giovanni's Table on this day. It actually took us about 40 minutes to get our food, which is a really long time when you've got a lot of activities planned. And given the fact that this is one of the places where you pay extra and it wasn't really busy in the restaurant to begin with, it was a little frustrating. But after I had this meal, and if you know what a carbonara is supposed to be, the sauce is essentially supposed to be the yolk. But what I got was an Alfredo with a hard poached egg on top. So even when you broke open the egg, you didn't get that part of it. So I did bring this up to the staff, which is something I absolutely hate doing. I feel like garbage when I do that. But in fairness, he asked if we were enjoying our meals. And I will say, they could not have been better in their reaction to this. They were very apologetic. They did say that their carbonara was a take on a carbonara, which the menu doesn't say that at all, and that just was not a carbonara. It wasn't even close. But they offered to get me a different dish. They even offered to make me a traditional carbonara. But for how long everything was actually taking that day and the fact that we did have plans in the evening, I respectfully declined and we just went on with the rest of our meal. We had our desserts. I just had Neapolitan ice cream. I was kind of over it at this point. And Carrie had the tiramisu, but that's what brought us back to the main dining room where I had their beef tenderloin, which was almost as good as the filet. It was cooked to a beautiful rare. It was full of flavor. And not to deny myself ice cream while on a cruise, I had an apple crumble with vanilla ice cream as a dessert. I will say, I've heard people rave about this restaurant from cruise to cruise, from ship to ship. So I don't think that mine was a common experience. I think that based on the other reviews and the rest of the food we had, the rest of the food we had was great. I think that you could go and have a really good time at this restaurant. It would be a recommend from me. We just had a bad experience. That does happen sometimes. But if you like carbonara and you're thinking about ordering it on this menu, maybe ask them about it first. Our night brought us to the Royal Theatre, where we went to watch Broadway Rhythm and Rhyme, the ship's Broadway review. Now, this is actually where we discovered how much the crew members on this ship actually do, because this is where we discovered that one of our dancers was actually our muster officer. The show was well done with a lot of talented singers and choreography, but the songs were from musicals that weren't amongst our favorites. It was older Broadway. It wasn't really our style. So well done show overall, just not for us. Then we took in a little bit more of that nighttime view from the deck while we waited for our last event of the evening. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me. The ship's rocking quite a bit right now. So we had one last chance today to win a prize, and we decided to go ahead and go for it. We went and played adults only majority rules. Now, if you don't know the rules to majority rules, basically you're asked a question and you have to guess what you think the most people are going to answer. And you get a point if you guess that answer. Now, they had a twist for this, is if you had the funniest answer, you got a bonus point.
Oh, this one. Oh, using the elevator when they can walk. The people who go one floor, it kills me. And if you haven't been in the elevator long enough to see that happen, it's because you're that person.
And I guess it just took having a dirty mind because we won, baby. So I didn't really know what this is, but Carrie was figuring it out while I was shooting this, and it's a little collapsible tote bag. So huzzah, huzzah, day 2, we are winners. And that was day 2 of our cruise in the books. The next day, we're going to be in Cozumel. So make sure you keep an eye out for that video to drop. We had a great experience there. A lot of stuff happened. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure that you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when that video and other videos drop. And while you're down there, drop a comment about your favorite cruise experience. All that kind of engagement helps the channel get seen more. Make sure to hit the like on the video if you liked the video. I'd like to assume that if you made it this far that you enjoyed it at least a little bit, at least enough to click the like. It's free. And check out the notes below to find out how to follow us on all our other socials. But that is going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. And until next time, whatever you do, make it magical.